Yeah, it was good. Like I said, I thought we had a great week of prep. The 2 weeks that came before that had nothing to do really with what we were doing moving forward. Our guys were in a good space mentally, and approach it the right way. And anytime you can get off the mat after two in a row, it's a positive deal. Yeah, there's no question, and it's something else we talked about. Us throughout the week of the streak and so on and so forth. I thought our guys did a nice job of understanding that it was about this current team and winning this current game. And once the final horn went off, obviously then you can look at the streak and be proud of that. Had a ton of alums in town for the game, so there was a whole bunch of people here to celebrate it. But I was proud of the way our guys went about it. I think I mentioned this after the game a couple times about how amped up our guys were for the game. Again, coming off of 2 losses, and then your rival coming to your place, and a whole bunch of stuff going into it that I felt like, looking back on it now, we probably should have calmed them down a little bit after the warm up. But I'm not ever going to be mad at our guys getting up for that game, especially. And we got settled down and obviously did some things there in the second quarter, through the fourth at that point. Defensively, we were perfectly fine, right? They get the 3 points after the muff punt, and they weren't we weren't ever stressed from that standpoint. To be honest with you, it wasn't really stressful at any point. It was more of a frustration than stress. I just felt like we had left a ton out there in the first quarter. Second play of the game, Michie's clean behind the defense, and we're just eyes are on the wrong side of the field, and then end up having to settle for 3 on that drive. But wasn't upset or stressed out about anything that we were doing. It was just more of all right, let's calm down and start taking advantage of some of the stuff that they're giving us, and we did that eventually. It just took a little bit longer than we wanted it to take to get going. Yeah, it did, and you get the score. I believe it was a 3 and out to get the punt into Lippard's hands right after that, and obviously he does what he does. True freshman touching the football for the first time in his career to make that guy 2 guys miss at the point of attack, and then incredible job by the entire punt return team, 4 true freshmen, as a matter of fact, on the field at that point to help him get to the end zone. So it was a cool deal for everybody, and couldn't have happened at a better time, obviously, in that game. But it was those 2 sequences, right? The touchdown and then the punt return. I felt like kind of got everybody in a spot where, all right, now let's just go play. Yeah, it was, and it was exactly that. I felt like after he made the first 2 guys miss, there was, really nobody left. We had guys doubling back to get into contact that maybe got beat off the line of scrimmage, and Gorzinski gets the last one to get him, clean into the end zone. I just felt like it was, you talk about any play needing 11 guys to be able to go execute. That was as good of an example as we had of everybody playing right to the whistle, and of course, Jackson's electric with the ball in his hands. He's fast, quick. Once he got into the grass, it was hoping there was no flags at that point because he was cleaning up our sideline at that point. So, no, it was cool to see. Yeah, it is. And, we a couple bad turnovers in the second half that maybe slowed down how fast we wanted to get extra guys into the game. We ended up getting there at the end of the third quarter where we could start subbing in and whatnot. But, the intention at that point when you're up 26-3, I think it was, we felt like we were in a pretty good spot to get guys in. And then, you throw the interception, put a ball on the ground with the tailback. And, any one of those drives, had we put one more on them, we could have got to the 2s and 3s a little bit earlier, which is something that we need from a developmental standpoint to get those guys game reps and whatnot. So didn't happen as quick as we wanted it to, but, I was excited about the way both sides of the football, even special teams at that point, when you're getting to those next couple groups went in and executed in a game standpoint. Yeah, I mean, we've all been excited about Alex and his development since he's been here. I think it says a lot about that quarterback room right now, in terms of how they help each other, how they feed off each other. You got a second-year starting Q in his senior year, doesn't ever complain when AB's coming in, whether that be in the games previous or this one, knowing what he brings to the table and how it can help our offense, and and then Alex goes right back in, and but they're playing great off of each other right now. I said this after the game as well. Alex does as good of a job as I've seen of a backup preparing during the week. It's always one of those deals where, hey, what do you feel comfortable with this week in terms of his package? And he kind of gives me the look like, all of it, without wanting to say that. But no, he's been great. We do have high expectations for him moving forward. And, even with 3 games left in the season, if something were to happen or we need a spark or there's got to be he's ready to step in right now. So, but happy with where he's at. Yeah, I think it's different for every Q. He is that kind of guy with the ball in his hands. Ran a lot in high school, made plays with his feet. It's one of those deals where it's a feel thing in the pocket, whether it's collapsing on the edges, up the middle, where I'm escaping to. You can coach that, you can work drills and so on, but a lot of it comes down to an individual's feel, when to get out, timing in the head with the progression, so on and so forth. But he's just got a natural, it's time to go, in his own head at that point. And the other thing that's probably most impressive that maybe people don't see is I feel like for a young guy, the patience that he's got before he does leave is good. I think there's a lot of young Qs that are good with the ball in their hands, that it's 1, 2, 3, and I'm gone, rather than letting it develop and then making a play. He's got a pretty good feel for that part as well. At that point, I think there was 7 minutes left in the game. We're still running our normal offense, and I think the touchdown came on 4th and 8, 4th and 6, whatever it was, and why aren't you kicking a field goal in that situation? And at that point, we're trying to get those guys into different situations, see if they can execute, against live competition and so on. And the concept was called to the field. The backside route ended up getting converted based off of their coverage, and again, for a freshman Q, to see what the back end looks like, where I might have a free one, so on and so forth, to do it in a 4th down situation and for a touchdown was great to see. Yeah, they play hard, talented, skilled guys are talented. They've got a receiver that's as good as anybody in the league. So he's a big part of their offense. Defensively, they're aggressive, going to blitz us a ton, which usually brings the coverage up in our face. It gets back to, same game plans as you might see against a Davenport or a Ferris or, any one of those other aggressive defenses, where we're going to have to be good with our communication up front in the run game, making sure we're getting guys picked off in our gap schemes and so on, to be able to run the football. And then, obviously, protection-wise, being sound as well, so we can get some of our crossers or our intermediate pass game into the package, so we're not just throwing quick game the whole time. I'm going to have to be able to take advantage of taking some shots as well. So they're good. Anytime you go on the road in this league, it's not easy to win. So, our guys are going to have to not only get healed up, but flush maybe the excitement and the high of beating your rival, and know we need to move on at this point. So, I think they've done a nice job of that. But, again, we got to have 3 good days of practice before we get on the bus. All you got to do is turn on their film of the last couple of weeks to see that they're playing better football and starting to figure some things out, whether that be with personnel or scheme or whatever it is. But, it is not a week where we turn the film on and our guys are sitting there overlooking anybody. That you could see the talent. They're big. They play hard. So from that standpoint, there won't be anybody overlooking anything. And our guys know how hard it is to win, not only in the league, but especially when you go on the road. So they'll be prepped for that for sure. Yeah, it's awesome. I think last year D-Will had the big game against them, and I don't know that Michie had a catch last year maybe. kind of flips this year. D-Will had one catch, couple carries, but, then Michie gets the big ones. Champney was involved as well. But, I said this after the game as well. Every week we game plan, those guys are focal points of the offense. They all have shot plays designed for them. They all fit in on different spots of concepts and so on. So you try to do whatever you can, whether it be with quick game or, a vertical shot or a reverse, whatever, to make sure that they are involved and touching the football. At the same time, coverage is going to dictate where the ball goes, what the Q is seeing, so on and so forth. So we do everything we can to make sure on the call sheet there is stuff that's going to get them to the focal point of the call. At the same time, depending on how teams play us, that doesn't always work out that way. So, again, right, D-Will has one touch through the air on Saturday. That was not the only call that was made on Saturday to get him the football. It just didn't work out to where he had any more touches. So it's the same thing for all three of them. We need to do a better job of getting our tight ends involved. Feel like the tailbacks are touching the ball, whether it be in screens or in our flat routes and so on. But, we got to start getting everybody involved so that it's not just three guys that they need to worry about. And we are making a conscious effort of that as well.